Good day, Bob here at Weldnrust, and today we're going to make a pattern using this side to make a part for this side. You don't want to miss this one. So for this experiment, I went out and got some white wrapping paper. Hopefully this stuff's going to work. It's thinner than the regular paper, so I'm hoping it's going to show me what I got to change or what I got to form. That's the plan anyways. Okay. All right. Cheap little magnets. I don't remember what I paid for them. I think they were on sale. No, if I bought them, you know they were on sale. So, my trick is to find out what is the paper. The paper is going to tell me what I got to shrink and what I got to stretch. Like I said in the last video, go watch Carl. He's a professional at this. Me, I'm still learning. Now, that's interesting. It's definitely fighting. Now, my idea here is one of the things I want to see is I'm hoping when I make the panel that this section in here, I'm not actually going to do any shrinking or stretching to, because I want to make a flange that actually fits inside. And once I make the basic shape, once I have the basic shape of it, and I fold a piece over, and then basically run it through the shrinker stretcher to get the form, approximate form, and then do all my other reshaping on everywhere else but this section. That's the idea. Yeah. Interesting to note, it doesn't stick very good to Bondo. Okay. Let's get rid of some of this excess. I should probably get a separate pair of scissors. That's a little sharper for doing paper. Oops. Problem is, if you try and cut things that are a lot harder than paper, it tends to be hard on scissors. Okay. So let's see what's going on here. Cut this excess off. And what do we have happening? Where is this going? It's looking like I need to stretch. Well, it's paper, it's cheap. If I'm wrong, I can always do it again. Oh, look at that. Now it comes out. Okay. Now we see what's happening. Now that they're separating, I've got some idea of what I got to stretch. It's not going to take a whole lot over here. Hang on a sec. I think I'm just going to trim this little bit here. Trim up here. Well, looking at the panel, I realize it's not going to come this long. It's only going to come up to about here. Oh, definitely over there. Okay, I think we got something here. All right, it's a little bit rough underneath here because that's where the taillight is. I'm not going to worry about that one because this thing's getting custom taillights. I'm not a big fan of the stock ones. Okay, I think we got something. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot of... It almost looks like it wants to go all the way over to here. Well, if it's got to go all the way over there, that's telling me I'm going to be able to stretch this a bit. All right, maybe I'm trying to fight this thing a little too much. Let's just see where it really wants to go. Hello, my little friend. Sorry, you're going to have to take a break now. Okay, we're back again. Yeah, I have a little grandson. He needs some attention. As usual for the little guy. So, yeah, he didn't stay too long. There's no internet available in the garage, so much for that plan. Okay, so let's put these back again. I straighten that out here. Okay. I think, yeah. There's not a whole lot of change in shape on here. It's more of a bend. This is really, it tells me it's fairly flat. Maybe I'm asking the paper to tell me too much. Because I can't, yeah. Okay. I think I learned enough on this one now. I got a pretty good idea of what I need to do. It looks like I'm going to have some, yeah, just some stretching in here, really. Obviously, it'll be formed, but it's going to have to stretch a little bit. Okay. So now, we go over the edge here so we figure out where we are. Okay. I think what I'm going to do for the other side, let's see how long it is. So I'm going to go 4 inches here. I'm going to leave excess. I'm going to just trim it off later. It's a real pain welding it back on again. So I think I'm going to give it a good inch. And I think my flange, the other one looks like it's about an inch. We're just going to make it an inch. I like nice round numbers. That we're going to leave, but I think we're going to add half. I can get away with half an inch. Plus a half there, plus an inch there. And I need to make this a little longer, but it's going to be straight. So I'm going to give it +3. We're next to 3 inches that way. And make my life a little easier. We'll just trim off this. I want to make sure I keep this point. That's also a control point that corresponds to the other side as well. Okay. I think we've got enough to work with. Okay, found some steel. Got our pattern. It's been trimmed off. Now we just got to lay the thing out, and then we're going to start working on it. So here's the lesson. Don't get rambunctious and screw up like I did. Almost. Laid the pattern down because that was it. One of the things we have to remember is we're making a reversed image, a mirror image of the part, which means I was going to just lay this out and fold it here, and it would have been wrong because it has to get folded the other way. Okay? Because this is where it doesn't hurt to keep checking. Because if I lay the panel down, okay, here it is with the lines on it, but oh, backwards. Okay. My fold line has to be showing at the top. Okay. So that means coming over here. Oh, and sorry guys, through the magic of editing, I had already done it, just laid the paper on it. So now I got my new fold line on the right side. Okay, no fancy tools here. Flat bar on my weld table. Trying to line things up. Hopefully I can feel which way it is, because I want to keep this edge and this edge on the same alignment. If I can feel it over here, it's better. Here. And just a couple of clamps and a little bit of gentle persuasion. It's amazing what we can do with a hammer. I don't know if I've told you guys this before, but I like to call this hammer therapy. Oh yeah, another little thing I've been doing. It's kind of hard to see this on camera, but where some of the bubbles are, if you can feel me rolling this on this hard surface underneath. But if I pull it off just a little bit, let's say it's contacting here but not here, and I can literally kick this high spot in a little bit. Let me try that again without the hammer. Kick this high spot in a little bit, and that way I can get the curve a little visibly truer. And then any of these other high spots, I'm going to bring them down, because what I want is a uniform edge. But it's kind of finesse work, where you're just kind of taking a little bit off here or there, hammering a little bit here and there, just to try to get this curve to match perfectly. Well, yeah, perfectly is arbitrary, because, and it's never going to be absolutely perfect. Okay. Well, this is a little bit interesting. When I made the paper pattern, I laid it out and it was actually curved here. But I should have clued in on something which is a little bit different. The fender itself is actually straight along this line. But if I take this panel, your image, and I follow along, it looks like it's going to follow. So my question is, are my eyes telling the truth, or is the paper telling the truth? I don't know. But once we form this, we'll get a better idea of where we're at. If worst comes to worst, it ends up being a pile of scrap. But that's part of working on these things, is the possibility that you're going to make scrap. But I looked at it this way. Making scrap, at least I would have learned something from it. So there's no real loss except a little bit of metal. Okay, I got my shrinker stretcher in the vise with the shrinker jaws in it. And the reason I have it this way is so I can actually use both hands and this thing not flopping around. One of these days I would love to make a stand for this and have a foot pedal to work it. That's another project down the road. But in the meantime, this is what we're using. You'll notice I don't throw away my patterns, probably because, oh, surprise, surprise, we're going to need this to get our shape again. Okay. One of the things I still have to get used to is using this. I haven't used it very often, but sometimes if you're like me, you can get a little bit overzealous. Oops, I got it right here. Nuts. So, a little bit more should go in there. I went way rambunctious over here. Fortunately, I can always put the stretcher drives back in again, or I'll just kind of hammer on a little bit. I can stretch it that way too. Yeah, I got to learn to stop and check a little bit more often than I have been. I'm starting to sweat now. I hope you noticed something with this little demonstration. How easy it was to shrink it with the tool, and how much work it was to try to stretch it back again. And I didn't over shrink it too much, but you saw the rocking. But to get it back to shape again, that took a lot of work with a big hammer. So I could have put the jaws in, but I thought, oh yeah, only a few hits. Oh, a little bit more work than that. So anyways, hope you learned something because I know I did. Well, at least we got it started. It doesn't even fit half bad. Anyways, that's all we got time for this week. Hopefully next week we'll get it finished. I keep hoping these things, you know. So anyways, I want to thank you guys for sticking around to the end and for liking and subscribing. By the way, since you were so good to stick around to the end, I'm kind of making an amends. I'd like to make a bit of an amends for the last video because I did an oops on editing and I took out some stuff I didn't want to take out. So this time, you guys get to see some bonus footage. That's one way of getting things cleaned up. Okay. Oh yeah, this is a leftover block of wood. That chewing, that was from the chipper project if you're interested. There's a few videos on that if you're curious. Okay. Don't know if you can see it, but it's moving. I gotta watch it because I'm putting a crinkle in here too. Oh no, it's already because it's dented. Well, let's go a little further. What could possibly go wrong?